Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me. Hello.
Meow.
Meow. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. I hope everyone's having a good time. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been wanting to do more of that, but life. You know? Life be crazy.
Sucks.
It'd be crazy, yo.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. But yes, I hope everyone's doing well. Hello, and how's it ever going? Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, we got a bunch of topics to talk about today, and I got a few starting out right now. But yeah, let me introduce everyone. Ray, welcome back. How's it going? How are you doing?
Meow.
How do you do?
Yeah.
How'd you get here? What do you are? You know, what do you do?
Well, you, chap, don't let him fool you. He lured me with catnip.
It wasn't catnip.
It wasn't?
It wasn't catnip.
Then what was it? See, that's how I know it was catnip.
No, it's not catnip. You know what it was? It was hentai.
No, hey, just because you want me to start an OnlyFirst does not mean I'm
it's
doing
not about
hentai.
me wanting you to start an OnlyFirst. You already have one. Just look at your Twitter feed.
The fake news.
How is it fake? There are literally titty pictures.
Fake news.
There's no fakeness about Pi. Can you back me up on this? Also, welcome, Pi. This is your first time here. How's it going? How are you? How are you doing? Pi?
I was taken out of the fridge for this.
Yes, you were. Welcome. Yeah. I hope you're doing well, Pi. So yeah.
I'm doing.
That's understandable. That's fully understandable. Well, we had a bit of an eventful week, should we say. A very eventful week. So yeah.
So you ain't joking on that.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is it? Let's see. Do we start with the Twitch adpocalypse?
Oh, that was gonna be a lot. Holy crap.
Or do you want to start with the Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson shit?
It was Jake Paul.
Yeah, was it Jake Paul? Oh yeah, Jake Paul. Sorry.
Though honestly, I wouldn't mind if Logan Paul got hit by Mike Tyson too. But
Either way, that's fine by me. But what do you guys? Which one do you want to start off with? Because we could talk about either. I got more, but still.
I'm good with either, though. But honestly, I sincerely hope Mike Tyson really thrashes Jake Paul.
No, the fight was yesterday. He lost.
Mike lost?
Yeah, the guy's like 50 years old.
That
guy's
had to
no-
have been fixed.
Ray, I'll put it this way. He barely lost, and the only reason why it was a barely actually did have to do with his age.
I honestly think a man at his age should not have been fighting Jake Paul.
Well, in fairness, Jake Paul's an arrogant twat, and someone had to stand up to him.
It's not about that. It's literally about, I think Mike was just, and as weird as it is to say, I think he's past his prime. I think he knows that. I just don't think he should have been fighting like that anymore. I think
He's far past his prime.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Jake just dragged him out of retirement for the check. You know? That's it. I'm gonna be honest.
For a man that was his age, he performed really well.
Oh, I'm not saying he didn't, but personally, I still don't think any guy his age should have been fighting in the first place. I don't know. That's just a personal thing. I don't know. It seems a little cruel. At least that's my thought.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible or it was staged, I think. And it seems like there wasn't a whole lot of hype built up to it, and that just seemed kind of weird to me.
The reason it has so much hype is because Mike Tyson is such a legendary boxer, and let's be honest, everyone wants to see the Logan Paul brothers get the shit beat out of them. That's like everyone's dream right now. You know?
Everyone wants to see Logan Paul get the shit beaten out of him. People, when it comes to Jake Paul specifically, they just want to see him like toned down a notch, because Jake Paul isn't as bad as Logan, but he's still kind of arrogant, and people kind of just want that reality check to hit Jake Paul. But everyone just wants to see Logan Paul get destroyed because they think he's an abhorrent human being.
Yeah,
because he is.
He is.
Like, when I saw him get scammed on Pokemon cards, I was thinking, thank God karma caught up to him. And only to turn out that he just kept doing it.
I mean, if he doesn't lose his money, that's up to him. Why does it say Twitch is the name? Are you? No, I am not. I should actually change that if that's what everyone's thinking. No, I should not do that. No. Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to change that so no one freaks the fuck out.
I mean, when I saw it, I thought you were referring to, like, Twitch ending itself.
Well, kind of.
So
not.
I feel like that was just a single person.
You know what? At least it's. I'll keep it for now, but it's catchy. But the point is, no, Twitch is not ending. I don't think it's ending. It's a whole play on things. I'm not ending on Twitch. I do think the ad box is gonna hurt, but I don't think it's gonna kill the platform. Honestly.
If there's any killing of the platform, I think it's gonna be by the management, and if they keep this policy up.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's gonna kill it. You know what I think is gonna kill it? So, this is gonna delve a little bit into things I don't usually like talking about, but there's proposed promises to change Section 230.
I'm just going to nod and pretend that I know what that means.
So,
okay,
do you want to say it, or do you want me to go ahead?
Okay, so the short version of Section 230 is there is a clause in protections for big corporations where media companies that platform content but do not create content, or in other words, they're not exercising like any editorial power, which distinguishes them from some more, say, like the New York Times or the Washington Post.
Yeah.
Like, it protects them from a reprisal based on content that's posted to the platform. And that is specifically under Section 230 of that provision.
Basically, in dumbed down terms, it allows Twitch and everyone to let anything really be posted and it not be immediately drawn back to them as a company.
And that also goes for like Twitter, YouTube, and or Kick even, and other social media platforms.
Yeah. But
so it's like Section 230 is like a law thing as opposed to something that's just part of Twitch itself.
It's a law thing, but this is my thing. So let me explain this. So right now there's a bit of a thing going on. You know how advertisers don't like things and they start pulling from these platforms, right?
They don't like what?
So you know how advertisers won't like certain things on the platforms that are like on Twitch and everything else like that, and they'll say either you delete that or we pull our stuff off of it, you know?
Yeah, that's a honestly scummy behavior.
Yes. The proposed thing, so it's weird to say this, but I have to give Mr. Elected I have to give him a benefit because this sounds like a great idea. The proposed changes to 230 basically says if if you're a platform, you have to basically let things be put on here, and even if you disagree with them, you still have to let them be there. You have to act neutral, or 230 can be sued and taken away from you. Which means if you are not acting as a unbiased person or anything else like that, and I mean, like if YouTube starts banning specific people like it's been going on and not banning these other people that's been going on, basically they have
to me like this is basic, like the dumbed down version of this is we're not going to get another Sniper Wolf situation
kind of
where she commits a literal fucking crime, doxing someone's place of residence, all that, and just gets a slap on the wrist as punishment.
The basic part of this law basically determines that if you're not acting as a neutral party, with the provisional guidance of 230. So say like you have 230 and you're not acting neutral, as in you're favoring one person over another, or like one group over another, 230 will be removed from you and you will lose 230, which would actually destroy YouTube and Twitch in a day. They'd have to take the website offline if that were the case. Because that point is like anything on that site, if you lose 230, can be sued against you. That's what makes it so awful. That's why they need 230 to exist. But it just forces, so basically it also forces companies that say, hey, either you do this or we're going to pull like our ads from you. It forces the companies to go, it forces like them to basically it forces Twitch to basically say to the companies like that, well, I'm sorry, legally I can't do this. So then it comes to the companies go like, shit, do we miss out on our marketing, or do we just take the bullet and have the ads on there anyway? It takes away a lot of the power of companies just pulling off these platforms and forcing these platforms to do things to their will. And I think it's a great idea. Also, they're also planning on pushing a thing to where you will actually, like, say you get banned or shadow banned or anything else like that. There is an idea that they're pushing that it's basically you have to have an actual, like, it's called he wants to do a digital bill of rights, and basically is if you get shadow banned, you must be told about it. If you get banned, you must be told the exact reason why and a plain answer why. And it doesn't really matter what's your name, you have to have these things for anybody under law.
I like all of these changes so far.
I'm gonna be honest, I am not the biggest political junkie. I don't like politics, I hate all of this. But if those things get implemented, I'm gonna be so happy you have no idea. Because it saves every platform. There's no more adpocalypses anymore because YouTube and Twitch literally can't remove the stuff. Like at best they can remove is like murder videos and like all that stuff. They can remove like the very bad shit, but they can't silence anyone's political views. They can't silence anyone else's like viewpoints on anything else like that. So it's a whole thing of like, because Twitch right now is facing a scandal, because the reason I say it's the end of Twitch is because they're facing an adpocalypse right now. And the point of it is this: Twitch is banning people that speak one way about a certain conflict going on, but they keep the other people who speak another way about a certain conflict going on. But because that's going on, fucking companies are pulling out. This is all like, hard to talk about considering it's like stuff that's going on and has some pretty big names. Like even Asmongold's brought into this shit. So it's like a whole situation going on. Like big wigs like Hassan, Asmongold, like everyone is going at each other right now. There's one streamer that is was making like 10 grand average every month, got slashed down to only 2 grand every month. It's not going well for Twitch.
And that's on top of other issues like the moderation policies that have spawned all this that are going bonkers.
So the reason I wanted to mention those laws is because, in a weird way, I think it would save Twitch and a lot of these companies. Because the problem is this: everyone fears that the ads are just going to be taken away. But with the laws and the stuff I was talking about that the new administration wants to push, which if he doesn't do that, I'm going to be so mad. Like, I already don't like the guy, but if he doesn't do the one thing I'm like honestly wanting him to do, I'm going to be so pissed.
This does go through.
Yeah.
Then that would mean that YouTube and Twitch would essentially have a lot more freedom to do what they're initially set out to do, which is really nice. Because one thing that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to the apocalypses, YouTube and Twitch are being a lot more strict and they're going after content creators or specific content creators because of that. But at the same time, they're doing that to keep the platform itself from failing.
Yeah.
If it falls because all of its advertisers pull out, suddenly the way that those same people that are crying about it and all that, their main source of income disappears off the face of the earth. So having this kind of freedom means because these companies no longer have to go through apocalypses and they can stand up to their advertisers a lot easier.
Because the problem is
there's
this.
not going to be nearly as many people getting banned or shadow banned.
Oh, yeah.
And these companies aren't going to be blamed for shit that isn't their fault.
I am going to be straight up honest. I honestly think a lot of the advertisers have more weight on these platforms than I think people really think of. Because fucking look at like X right now. They're doing a whole like a bunch of like advertisers are pulling off of X right now, and it's hurting X. But the problem is this. That's what they do whenever they don't get what they want. So all these apocalypses are bad for everybody, and they're like, yes, it's very bad. But I honestly think if the new administration pulls out these new laws and actually enforces them into law, I honestly think it'll save these platforms from always feeling like they're like trapping us in there, or they're treating other people like better than anyone else. Because if these laws get passed and actually put into the books, they have to tell you if you get banned. So in a weird way, I'm kind of hopeful, but at the same time, very much skeptical. Because right now, Twitch is literally imploding. And for me, that's kind of a, oh no. So, you know, that's a thing. It's because Twitch is imploding.
I mean, so long as YouTube is fine, you're good.
YouTube's fine, but it'd be a giant like jumping off point. I'd basically be starting over again. It's whole problem.
You'd still have the people in your Discord at least.
Oh yeah, no, it's not like I'm losing too much. It's just it's not good when that stuff happens.
Yeah, I think another way to read it too would be at the same time it kind of standardizes the guardrails that each platform has to abide by.
So wait,
is that way they can't shadow ban someone for just something completely off the rails?
Also, so
without.
Sorry, one of the people in chat was talking about like, so in other words, nudity and can be posted on Twitch and social media platforms won't get shit from. No, that's not it at all. The whole point is they have to treat you can't favor a specific group. That's the law, basically. That's what they're trying to push. Is that if favoritism is played into their thing, they can lose 230 and be sued over them because of that. So yeah, it's a whole thing. I kind of hope it gets pushed along because I'd very much love to see it because I'm tired of these damned adpocalypses. And the problem is this: Twitch can't really fight it. Because, like, they can just, because the thing is, this is the thing. The advertisers, if they use the threat of pulling out their advertisements as leverage to get Twitch and YouTube to do whatever they want. If you literally put it to where Twitch and YouTube can't do anything about it, that leverage is gone. Because they'd just be breaking the law at that point. And at that point, you know, bye-bye advertiser. And then the advertiser realizes, shit, I can't use that as leverage anymore. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm screwed over. I either don't advertise on YouTube and Twitch, which are some of the largest platforms in the world, or I just deal with the people I don't like on my same thing and just sometimes get advertisements on their shit, you know?
Depending on how it gets implemented, by the way, this also gives Twitch and YouTube a way to fight back against advertisers that try to pull something like that. Because one thing that a lot of people forget when it comes to the legal system, if you have to act as a neutral body, that means that if someone tries to take advantage, like an advertiser doing what they normally do, that is legally considered bribery against a neutral party.
Yeah,
which can be sued or considered it can be sued against, or it can be considered a crime in some states. Yeah, which is also pretty big.
But the thing is, I think these reforms are like needed. I think they've been needed since 2012. They have been very much needed, and basically a digital bill of rights, basically making it to where you can't like throw someone off a platform without giving them the reason why. An appeal to it, and also a fucking the reason why appeal so they can appeal to it, and at the same time having a an exact reason of why you're gonna pull off that would make everything so much more clear, because that's what everyone complains about when anyone gets banned. It's like, why was I banned? I just don't know why. Why am I shadow banned? What happened? What's going on? You know,
and those that do get some clue, oftentimes it's vague as crap, where there's no real explanation.
Yeah. And the thing is, what also sounds like is if they are banning you for basically no reason at all, you can sue the company itself, which is why it makes so much sense, because they can't literally... The point is, it forces them to be neutral, which is a thing I've been wanting these companies to be forced to be doing for a long time. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's some people in the actual websites, the moderators, the YouTube moderators, who aren't neutral and like to play favorites. But this law would make them have to play favorites, while at the same time giving YouTube and Twitch the ammo to fight against advertisers, while the advertisers can't pull the regular bullshit no more.
The only downside about this proposal is that it also means that YouTube and Twitch are no longer going to be sources of profit.
Actually?
Because... I'm not talking about for content creators. I'm talking about the platforms themselves are not going to be considered sources of profit. Because if any creator gets screwed over in some way by either advertisers or anything like that, they kind of just have to take that. And while that means they can't really get hit by the advertiser can just pull, because, they kind of have to let that happen. So if people start trolling for the sake of trolling, and this is the internet, we know that's going to happen, and they take things too far, they could potentially get Twitch and YouTube wiped off the face of the earth.
I have a slightly different perspective on that one, and as we look at it from this perspective, and it got me thinking. We'll use Twitter as an example here. The Twitch does very much fall in the same boat as does YouTube for their respective companies. The purpose behind these companies for the owner company is not necessarily to be a profit center.
It is.
They're meant to be a loss leader.
Actually, I don't how to put it. Was it just me, or did he sound a bit buggy first? Ray, did you sound a bit buggy?
I would have no way. That'd be something that both of you guys hear.
I don't think so. I think he's fine for now. If it gets buggy, let me know. But I actually have something to add to that. So I agree with Ray. I don't
There's
think
two people on Discord.
I don't think that Twitch, YouTube, and everything else is meant to be profitable. I don't think they're designed that way. Probably at the beginning they were, but I think they've grown into something completely different. Because let's be honest, X doesn't make the creator money. It doesn't. What it does do is allow him to fucking own the largest media thing possible. In a weird way, it allows these people who own these companies to, in a weird way, get their voices immensely pushed out and help them with. I'm gonna be honest. The whole problem is that would also take out that entire, because the whole problem I have was I was gonna agree with you, Ray, because that's how it is right now. They're not meant to make money right now. But if that law gets pushed in, they can't really push their political or whatever other agenda they have or whatever they want to push, because they have to be neutral.
Well, that is how Twitter is aiming to be just a neutral platform. Now, is it succeeding in that task? That is very much up for debate. But for example, Alphabet and YouTube, the purpose of YouTube is not meant to be the profit center. It's meant to be an advertising arm. And what is Alphabet but a advertising firm? They literally use that as an advertising source so they can put the ads in front of you. That's how they make their money off of YouTube, not through YouTube itself, but through selling the advertisements to advertisers. Twitch is the exact same scenario because Amazon is using it to put ads in front of you, so you go back to Amazon to buy things.
Yeah. The whole point is, as of right now, every single time the advertisers just threaten to pull out, and they do, they fucking screw over the entire thing. If the companies like YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch are forced to basically be neutral, they literally would not have that leverage, because it's either I lose you as an advertiser or I just break the law, and I can't do that. That's what, in my opinion, kind of gives me hope, because I really hope that's the case, because I think it'd fix a lot of it. And let's be honest, with how big some of these platforms are, I don't think they're gonna skip out advertising on there. Especially like fucking out like YouTube and everything else like that. People are starting to watch like YouTube and Twitch more than they actually watch fucking TV. Saying something.
That's been true. Like even this past election cycle, like viewership of, I won't even call it like mainstream media anymore. I consider it legacy media, or saw a viewership drop of over 25%.
By the way, for everyone who's coming in, we're talking about the adpocalypse and what the fuck's going on. Continue, Ray. Sorry, I was just letting everybody know.
But yeah, the viewership of legacy media dropped substantially, where viewership for say Joe Rogan or increased by a proportionate percentage over the same time period. So fewer people are watching TV, more people are going to YouTube and podcasts.
Yep.
I feel like the reason for that is due to how TV handles ads as opposed to how something like YouTube or Twitch handles ads. Twitch doesn't handle ads better than TV does, mind you. However, because Twitch is also the primary live streaming platform, there's not really any contest in that regard other than YouTube slowly starting to creep into the picture.
I would say
Twitch, you don't really got much of a choice.
Yeah.
Whereas with YouTube, and this is the main reason why people are flocking to YouTube, and some streaming services are also practicing this, ads are so much fucking shorter.
Yeah.
And you can skip them if they're too long most of the time.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this is another topic I want to talk about. I think advertisements on these platforms need to change. They can't do like 2-minute commercials anymore. One, because A, they just last too long. People don't want to watch your stuff. And B, they are generally just not entertaining. Like, a point of an advertisement is supposed to grab your attention and, like, get you to want a new product. But every time I watch an advertisement, I'm just like, why are you here? I have no interest in this. You know?
It would be a lot more intuitive for Twitch's perspective if instead of them playing like a full audio ad or something like that, they just put an ad somewhere near the bottom of the screen so that people could continue watching.
Yeah, like, I feel like ads need to no longer be directly in your face, but off to the side. Like, in my opinion, I feel like the sidebar ads, the top ads, and just like ads on those sites kind of work better just because A, they're already on there, and B, they're not taking up your attention from what you're actually trying to do, you know? But at the same time, they're still there, so if you see something that catches your eye, you can still look at it and go like, oh, that's cool, I might actually look into that. Like, I do that with gamer subs. Every time there's like freaking gamer subs, like fucking like advertisement on the side of the bar, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because, you know, they have good art and shit, you know? But, you know, they just bombard you with ads and ads and ads and ads and ads. And then, like, advertisement's fine, but I think they need to really change up how they do it, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, the advertisement industry needs to really evolve, in my opinion, because there's a, like, so the FBI, like, for all of its faults and all the debates we can have about it, it does have one recommendation I will get behind every time, and that is run ad blocker, because it makes your internet experience genuinely safer. I mean, you cannot go to a news website without running it now, because it is just such an awful experience. Not to mention, a lot of the advertisements that are getting through websites like Google that are supposed to be filtering or low quality ads and malicious ads are still getting through with stuff like crypto scams. Like that needs to be solved before we can safely say we can get rid of ad blockers. Because
I'm gonna be honest, I think that's also to do with the adpocalypse. Because let's be honest, when all of the big advertisers pull off your website because they want to control what you put on it, and you're literally dependent on them, of course you're going to do what they want. But if they still pull out, you know, you're gonna have to take any advertisement you can get. You know? I honestly think that there needed to be a lot of more regulation on the internet, but not overhanded regulation on the internet. Let's be frank about this. I don't want it to turn into a TV 2.0 where I'm having to pay fucking plans in order to get the certain things I want to watch. You know, I just don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, or go back to the era where we're having to pay for maximum bandwidth increases.
Exactly. Like I don't think any of that's good. But I do feel like codes of conduct for platforms that claim to be open spaces but then are forced or willingly decide to fuck everyone up, fuck certain people over just because either they don't like them or the advertisers will pull out because they will do it if they don't do this, you know? It's a whole thing, in my opinion. I think it's a thing that has messed with me a lot because I'm like, this is a thing that fucks not only me over, it fucks everyone else over. It fucks even the people who like don't even like, it fucks everyone over. Because the advertisers don't get to advertise because they want to do their thing, so they pull off thinking, hey, I'll just take the loss and I'll come back when they actually do the thing I want them to do. And then sometimes they don't do it and they're like, oh, I guess I'll tell it off. But then they end up taking a loss because these platforms are fucking huge. These are like the best platforms to advertise on, you know? It's
in the long run, it makes me think that it's probably just better, because you already know I plan on eventually setting up my own thing. It makes me think it's probably better to just set up on YouTube, because instead of YouTube having the sub program or something like that, they have the membership program.
Yeah.
And that isn't tied to ads at all.
No.
What's tied to ads is YouTube Plus or YouTube Premium, whatever it's called.
So I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to YouTube, I also think YouTube streaming is actual shit.
Well, with YouTube, it's got some key issues that really need to be solved long term before it could, in my opinion, can be considered a serious live content or competitor.
The problem with streaming on YouTube is, while it's good, it also fucks with your algorithm a lot. Like posting shorts gets a little fucked up just because you're streaming a lot on there, you know? It's a whole thing.
Well, and there is the fact that the copyright system is ripe for abuse.
Very much so.
Right, and to top that off, it feels like their live stream control centers, like the back end, and the user experience is not their focus. They're more focusing on or basically competing with TikTok or their shorts algorithm or in short form videos because they think that's where the viewership is at. That's the data they're getting.
Yeah.
I also think YouTube is prepping for the potential TikTok ban as well.
I don't think it'll get banned. I'm not sure. It depends.
I'm pretty sure they already ruled that if TikTok doesn't follow certain guidelines, they're just going to be banned from the United States specifically.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But my whole thing is like, I'm not completely sure if it's going to be banned. That's a really 50-50 on that in my head. Like it could be, it could not be. I don't know. All I know is for right now, like TikTok is a thing, but it also like, I don't know. I just feel like internet platforms such as like Twitch and YouTube needed to be regulated a long time ago. And as much as I don't really want to give too much credit to the new guy coming into office, if he pulls through with this, I can't say I would hate it. And I'm gonna be honest, from everything that happened during the election, there's literally nothing stopping him. So if that's like my main thing, I hope he pushes through. But yeah, no, that's one thing I want to talk about, just because the entire thing with Twitch has gone insane, because Twitch is experiencing an apocalypse right now because of the way they treat certain streamers. I'm pretty sure Ray knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of streamers are kind of getting shadow banned, but
about what happened to TikTok, as much more used to Twitch and YouTube, but if TikTok says it could make content on there someday. So Twitch, okay, I know a few people who stream on TikTok. TikTok isn't a bad platform. It's very much used for, I'm gonna be honest, the most of my hit stuff on there is like 5-minute like dance videos of just my character dancing. And I'm like, what the hell? This is gonna sound rude, but like people who go to TikTok are like the 5-second attention span people. And there's my cancellation. I will see you guys later. I am canceled. Goodbye.
Oh god.
If you got canceled for that, that'd be honestly depressing.
I know, right? But no, I don't think I'd be canceled for that. But my whole point for me is this. I do think this has been a long time coming, and I really hope it happens. I don't stream on TikTok. It's mostly used for short clips. Yeah, no, that's what it's mostly used for, I agree. Which is probably why YouTube is hopping on the shorts trend. Yeah, they really don't want to get outclassed by TikTok of all things. That'd be a really embarrassing thing for them. But yeah, no, that's definitely a thing that, you know, I just feel like this should have been done a long time ago. Because I don't think it was bad back when it started, but now it got big and now everything's being used against him, and it's just like, holy shit, you know? If I wasn't on my phone, I would have clipped that, lol, but for real, only do it for some people who generally have shorter attention spans. It's not about the shorter, well, I mean, it is about the shorter attention spans, but it's like, I don't know, I put thought and effort into some of my videos and think they'd work, and then next thing you know, I post something that literally takes 10 minutes, and it's just random bullshit, and that just gets, like, thousands and thousands of views. I'm like, what the fuck? Everyone thought it was gonna fail, and now the same people want to slice it. Yeah, they want to slice the profit. It's not a bad idea. Oh well. But yeah, no. TikTok isn't a bad platform, neither is YouTube and Twitch. I don't think any of these things are bad platforms. I just think external forces, while at the same time internal forces, have been really fucking every single one of these platforms over. That's at least what I was thinking. Actually, I do have TikTok by the same name if you want to check it out. Well, maybe. Everyone thought it was gonna, yeah, no, that's all thing. Well, that happened. Well, I'm trying to remember what else happened, because I had my list and I kind of accidentally hit the delete button.
You deleted your topic list?
Yeah, I kind of had it, and then I forgot I hit the... Okay, let's be honest. It's been a long week for me. Motherfucker.
Yeah, you didn't decide to use the undo button?
I didn't know it was deleted until I accidentally emptied my trash bin and couldn't find it.
Oh no. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, no, it's fucking gone.
Yeah, so it dead?
Oh, actually, there's another thing I want to talk about. So, Helldivers. I'm pretty sure everyone has played it here. It was one of the fastest selling games. Yeah, go ahead.
For democracy!
Democracy! Bye, have you played it? Bye.
I'm pretty sure I bought it for some people.
Oh, okay. So, for those who know, never played Helldivers. So, Helldivers is a third-person action shooter game. It's developed by Arrowhead, and it's a really good game. But the whole point about Helldivers is it's called the Persistent War system. And so I played it and Starship Troopers. Seen Tech Praise, 100% agree. Great games. But there's one thing that has recently happened that has caused a lot of controversy. More like that, it's caused a lot of controversy in the game But it's not as bad as the past controversy with the Sony thing. But it's a new one I do want to point out. And something I did want to talk about. So, for a few months now, we've been trying to build a space station in the game. And how it worked is they give us giant orders. We were supposed to complete those orders and then finish it all. And then we just finished it the other day. And then after 2 months of hard fighting, doing these orders to hopefully get something really cool, it is one of the most disappointing things I've ever played. It is so awful. The DSS fucking every single time you land, fucking it because the thing is, the DSS is supposed to shoot like artillery rounds at the enemies and like generally help you out on the battlefield. It fucking shoots you with them. The artillery barrages shoot you. They can kill you. Yep. They very much do kill you often.
It is definitely a case of friendly fire.
It is one of those things that I was looking forward to it so much, and then the fact that it's here has made me so utterly depressed. It is beyond words of how blue balls I think everyone in the Helldivers community is right now.
It is quite...
The defense of Arrowhead, apparently, because I have looked into that, that is not intended. That is a bug.
That is a bug. Did they fucking playtest this shit?
They did, and it worked on their end. However, I feel like the reason why it only worked on their end was because apparently they initially had it treated kind of like the SEAF artillery thing.
Yeah.
And only for specific maps, because they have specific playtest maps.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that translation, when it moved to the fact that this only happens on certain planets and all that, and the fact that it was no longer on those playtest maps, that's where the coding got a bit corrupted.
I guess. My whole thing is so, in my opinion...
I don't know much about coding.
That's fair. In my opinion, Helldivers is a great game. I love the game. I do feel like the drip feeding of content is being too drawn out. Because there have been leaks that they've already finished a lot of things. And I'm talking they've already finished like APCs. There's tanks in the game that they haven't released to us. There are fucking jeeps and more vehicles and more call-ins and everything else like that. And we know they're there because we keep seeing them. And they keep getting teased about it and everything else like that. But the only thing we ever seem to get is like, it's basically, you know, everything that's coming and you're excited about it. And you're thinking, as soon as we get to the space station, we're going to start getting some of that stuff. We get to the space station and we get something that fucking kills us. And then after that, we get something, we don't even get even one of those things I was mentioning earlier. There's no jeeps, there's no tanks, no APCs or anything. So at that point, you're like, not only did I not get anything, but the thing I worked for 2 months for has become utter actual shit.
He's trying to kill us all.
He's trying to kill us all. This is actually like a debuff. I worked 2 months for a debuff. So yeah, that's what everyone's feeling right now. So my thing is this. When it comes to games like this, because it's a live service game, so my thing is this. What are you guys' thoughts on trying to get your communities, like, for a game to, like, build something together, and then when it ends up shitting the bed like this? Or do you... I guess the best way to put it is, when something like this happens, how the hell do you come back from it? Because they did lose a bunch of players from this.
I did, but I don't think those players are going to be permanently gone. I have a feeling they're going to come back once they hear, oh, they fixed it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair point.
Yeah, admittedly, I was kind of standing off until I figured, or after the Sony or account linking debacle, I pretty much did not play Helldivers up until very recently.
Same.
So I think they will definitely have a way to bounce back from it.
Yeah.
They're just going to need a little time.
I agree, but I also feel like they take way too much time to introduce new shit, if that makes sense. Like, what was it? We got... why? Why would you do that? Ow. But, like, when it came to, like, the fucking... Like, the last call-ins or anything new we got call-in-wise was the freaking gassing thing. And that was, like, I think it was, like, September to July, if I remember correctly.
And it's behind a battle pass.
And it's behind a battle pass. That's another thing. But that was a very... Thank you, Gavin, for the hydrate. I will hydrate now. Thank you. But my point is, that was like a long time ago. And then the next thing we get after 2 months, it's not even a call-in or anything else like that. It's the DSS, and then we actively get killed by it. I feel like they should have added at least something else to kind of spicing it up a bit, like a gunship. I don't know. Just to me, I just feel like since all the stuff we know is in there, considering we've seen it done, we've seen like leaks and everything else like that, but we've actually seen them like fully functional and working. It's one of those things of I feel like they're drip feeding us a lot more than I'd say it's deserved, I guess. So what is your thoughts on like drip feeding content? Because I get you have to add stuff for expansions and shit like that, but I don't feel like I feel like Helldivers is kind of leading us along just a little bit. Maybe
on one hand, if they make it go too quickly, it's not going to feel like as much of a reward.
I fully agree.
On the other hand, if they keep things going too slowly, the player base is going to get aggravated because, you know, they want all those things.
Yeah.
I feel like Helldivers 2 has reached a middle ground between the two that's slightly leaning more towards the too slow end.
Yeah.
However, what makes it interesting is while they do make you earn like a lot of these upgrades and stuff like that, the best part about it is that they give that choice system where they know these things. They put two things that they know for sure are as ready as possible, and you have to pick between which one you want to work towards.
Also,
the only downside is that the DSS was not fully functioning.
Yeah.
But like I said before, that seems to have been more of a bug as a result of the differences between the playtest map and the actual map.
Fair.
As opposed to anything else.
I know. Actually, there's another problem.
This does also reveal, by the way, that this bug may occur with other things in the future. So fair warning on that front if they haven't figured out what's causing it.
Yeah. Also, Tech Priest brings up a thing, maybe for the freaking Illuminate. I have a criticism about that. Because everyone knows the Illuminate are going to be put in there. They're already in the source code. And like, there's very much things pointing towards the Illuminate. But everyone's been saying that since the game came out. It's been, wait for the Illuminate, wait for the Illuminate, wait for the Illuminate. Like, eventually they're either going to have to show up or be told when they're going to show up or something like that. I don't know. I get that they do it the whole story-wise, but gosh damn it, we've been hinted at the Illuminate for, like, nearly a full year. I don't know, I feel like they should have shown up by now, at least. I don't know. I just feel like the way the game's going, it's not bad, but I do feel like they are very being slow about it. They've gone from drip feeding to now it feels like a Sahara right now. I feel like they're doing that just a little too much.
That's why I said they've hit the middle ground, but they're leaning a bit too far in the too slow department.
I feel like they need to start adding at least more shit. Like, next Battle Pass, give us more call-ins that aren't locked behind Battle Pass. Thank you, please. That was kind of shitty, and I really don't like that.
They don't... It's not that it's hidden behind a Battle Pass, it's that it's hidden behind the systems that they have current... Or whatever it's called, the... What are they called? The war bands?
The war bonds.
War bonds, yeah, that's basically a Battle Pass.
Yeah.
Not... Really, I can see why people are saying it basically is, but it's the main difference between that and a battle pass is that a battle pass is like what is it? They play on FOMO more than anything, whereas warbands don't, and that's kind of why I prefer the warband system. Personally,
I do like the warband system, but I'm going to be honest, out of Helldivers and any other live service, Helldivers has the best live service because I can actually earn the warbands. Like, let's put it this way. You know the latest one that came out, the Truth Enforcers? One day of full grinding, and I got the Truth Enforcers thing. I just went around grabbing all the super credits I could find, because you can actually get super credits in game as long as you look for them. You can find them. There's at least 10 per map. Sure, there's like you gotta get to like 1,000, but like it's not impossible to grind to it. And sometimes there's random ones where they actually have 100 in there, so it's like it's not completely damaging. So you know, it's a thing for me. I like the ability to actually earn these. Halo Infinite doesn't do that. But at least with Halo Infinite and Helldivers, I can go back and get the previous ones. I'm not locked out of those things just because I didn't participate that one time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I get why people are frustrated by that, but at the same time, you got to give props to them because of the warband system.
Oh no, I give full props to props is due.
Infinitely less frustrating than the fucking Battle Pass system.
So much. Warband's so much better than Battle Pass. But my only criticism for now is that right now it feels like...
did your internet die for a full month and as a result you missed the Battle Pass? Well, too fucking bad. You're never going to be able to see it again.
Yay. Fuck you. You lost all that shit, yeah? A lot of people like the Battle Pass system because it's a whole FOMO aspect. The problem with the FOMO aspect is, yeah, you get people buying, but after a while... So let's put it this way. The reason that people like the Battle Pass system is the FOMO. You'll lose, eventually, you won't, you'll lose that and you won't be able to get back to it. But you know what the problem with that is? After a long enough time, everyone feels so out of the loop, they don't even start trying. Because after a while of everyone having all this nice, shiny shit you're never going to have because the Battle Passes have come and gone, you're like, why did I even pick up the game? Like, I'm going to get outpowered by everyone because of these fucking things in these Battle Passes. You know, and I like that skin, but I'm never going to get that skin because it's always in that one Battle Pass I missed. So it's one of those,
or working people that work or day jobs that can't necessarily play every day. Even if they buy the premium Battle Pass, they're not going to be able to necessarily grind it out because they may not be able to dedicate the time to grind it out.
Exactly. But when it comes to fucking like the Helldivers Battle Passes, I can legit just keep going and I can get every single one of them. They're already on there. That's why I like Halo as well, because like Halo, I have the same thing. I still haven't finished one of my Battle Passes, but I can go back and work on that Battle Pass until I'm done.
Yep, or just get the stuff you want off of it and leave it in the dust.
Exactly. It's cool in my opinion. I generally like these Battle Passes, and I think these are what the Battle Passes should going forward should be, in my opinion. Are we starting to talk about Helldivers? Yeah, we're still talking about Helldivers, but we're mostly talking about the Battle Pass system right now and why I think Helldivers and Halo Infinite have the best. But yeah, no, that's my whole thought on the Helldivers. Okie dokie. I love it. Okay. But yeah, no, that's my whole point when it comes to like Helldivers and everything else like that, is because the whole DHS came out and I was so disappointed. I'm gonna be honest. I was so disappointed. Because I worked on that thinking I was gonna get like so much cool shit, and then I'm like, oh yay, we're dying because this thing's killing us.
It's like, yeah, this is cool, but wait a minute, why is it shooting? Oh my god, it's right at us!
Basically, it's like, why? We fucking grinded it out to make sure you wouldn't do that. Like, what the hell? Why?
1 second.
From the looks of it, because they don't know what's causing the issue, and this is the development team itself, they're not disabling it, but because it's still also attacking enemies, they are giving people free drop shields as well to help with that.
Interesting. I guess that's fair.
So they're trying to figure out what it is. So it sounds like they're doing a trial and error system when it comes to their programming.
Halo Infinite, fucking previous. That was the season 2 or 10 pop up, which is again with a game. Yeah, you could do that. That's a thing. But yeah, my whole point was that the Battle Pass systems for that was, good, but at the same time, almost like the DHS was just kind of Hello, Jessel. How's it going? Welcome. We found you. Let's go. But yeah, no. So that happened. Let's see. I know that a few VTubers get banned off Twitch again. I figured that happened. Oh, nice. Oh yeah. Did you hear who was planning on maybe being the new CEO of Disney? Andrew Wilson.
I don't know who that is.
You know the guy who invented loot boxes?
Oh, that.
Andrew Wilson, the CEO of EA, is potentially going to be the new CEO of Disney. Have you heard of the Battle Pass system for Star Wars? Did you get the ultimate, did you get the ultimate edition of fucking Disney Plus? Oh my god, he's going to run them into the ground. And apparently Elon
they're
Musk...
already on that path.
Yeah, but there's also another problem. Elon Musk also wants to buy Disney.
Honestly, that sounds less abhorrent.
Would you like to buy the part 2 of edition of Frozen? Wanna watch this old movie? Roll for it on exclusive loot boxes. Oh no, I don't want to see that. No. I hate that. I really, really hate that. Because the worst part is I could see that being a thing. I can really see Andrew Wilson fucking go like, hey, have you heard of the loot box too? Yeah, the Electric Boogaloo loot box where you fucking pay $20 to get a random Disney show unlock. Oh, I hate that. What's the next? The Jake Paul fight? Or should I say... Oh, actually, we did talk about that a little bit more. I might go back to it just because of how I think it went down. I honestly think that, we'll get back to that one later. But, yeah, no. Either Andrew Wilson is going to be the new president of Disney, or it's going to be bought by Elon. I hate both outcomes. Yeah. We live in crazy times. Fuck this shit. Oh my gosh. Wait, he's right back, by the way? Ray? Shit, we killed the cat. Fuck.
Greg?
No!
Ray?
We killed the cat! No! Ray! Uncom. Oh no, we killed the cat. Holy shit, we killed the cat. I don't like any of this. But yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what else I had talking about because I'm trying to remember what else I had on the list because my list got fucked up because I accidentally hit the delete button. So yeah, that's the thing that happened. Oh yeah, I actually don't want to ask you, Pi, you have been thinking about streaming, right?
Yes.
I have come to a bit of a realization, but more of just a personal thing of wanting to ask people this simple question before they even start streaming. Why do you want to stream?
So that I have some more stuff to do with my day. I think I've told you this before, but I'm on disability, so a majority of what I can do is heavily limited.
Oh.
So I want to stream, one, as a way to be able to meet new people, but two, as a way to entertain myself on the weekends when I don't have a caretaker to talk to for like 3 hours.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people who like have disability go on like Twitch and start streaming. But the reason I ask this is because there's a lot of people that just want to do it and get big and get the numbers and get the moolah, and that's it. And that's all they ever want to do.
I already make enough money off of disability. If I make enough money that I am no longer on disability, I'd be more impressed than anything. And even then, as soon as I get off of disability because of that income, I'd probably be set right back to the amount that I had off of disability, which would suck.
Yeah. I think
that's why I'm really only doing it for shits and giggles.
You know what? That's fair. because the reason I ask that is because a lot of people don't ever think about, like, there's one thing they never think about is, what do you do when you are big? What then? You got all the views, you get the money, you got all this shit. What do you do then? Because a lot of people, they don't really do much. Or if they do something, they lose their minds. I don't know, it's been a thing I've noticed. Because I'm gonna be honest, in content creation, you either end up like a fucking MatPat and just fucking gracefully close the curtains on your tail and walk out, basically. Or you end up fucking like a boogie. And then you're just like begging for money for the rest of your life. Funny enough, there's been a surge in disabled VTubers on the platform. Honestly, I think that's a nice thing, because I think streaming is a good place for like people if like I'm gonna be honest, if you're disabled and can't really do too much, I think streaming is like the perfect thing for you to socialize with. Because if you're just stuck at the house and can't really do much of anything, that's, in my opinion, the perfect thing to do. If I can make money now off of Twitch, I'd be happy, but for me right now, I'm just happy meeting people and making friends along the way. Me back when I would have said complete opposite. I know, that's my point. Like, there's a lot of people that I also realize get so crazy with numbers that they honestly do lose their minds. It's a thing. I never really, because I heard about it, but then there's seeing it, if that makes sense. There's actually seeing like the decay of people's brains doing this shit, Hey Needler, how's it going? Glad I got a chance to stop by. Yeah, we're talking about like what happens when you get big as a content creator. I don't think I'm big. I'm not anywhere close to big. Don't call me big. I'm not that popular. Thank goodness. I was only 15 seconds. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is, when you get any sort of big, I don't think anyone really thinks about when you're there. What do you do after that? I point out Lisa, he is the small. I am the small. I am the little bit. Motherfucker nearly got me to say it. Motherfucker nearly got me to say it. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I think I retire. Yep. Fuck this. I'm out. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I am not a little bit. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, let's continue. As for me, I'm just working on having fun with you and Ray and Zed. I don't care about numbers. I'm notoriously not famous. That's fine, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, there are some people that let it drive them so blatantly mad. It's a thing that I never really saw until I've seen a few people actively have that happen to them. Like, holy crap. Like, I get wanting to be popular, but chill the fuck out. I don't know. I just feel like it's an easy, slippery slope to go into. But there's also the other point is when you don't care about it, but then you're making so much money from it that you're like, oh, I'll just make it my full time. But then you're worried about all these platforms like just cutting you off one reason or another. And then you're like, oh shit, you're always stepping on eggshells whether I'm going to be able to pay for everything next month. And I'm going to be honest, when it comes down to that, there's a lot of people that don't really know what to do. And I'm going to be honest, there's one person I look to a lot because they actually did something that basically secured them, so they don't really have to worry about this shit no more. That's Shy Lily. For those who don't know, Shy Lily bought half of Gamer Subs. She's co-owner. So, she don't have to worry about Twitch and YouTube if she don't want to. She owns half a company. She's basically set with that alone. Either way, you're my short little, it makes it easier to, oh my gosh. Embarrassingly, I've fallen down that rabbit hole so many times. I remember bringing climbing rope and I parachuted every time I dive it back. Like, it's an easy slope to get into. Hell, I'm not saying I'm free of it myself, but I try to remember that even if I am big, it doesn't mean anything. Eventually I'll get small and then I'll fade out of existence. That's how everyone works. MatPat went out gracefully. Fucking Boogie didn't, and a few other people didn't. Like, you could either end up like a MatPat, a Markiplier, or a fucking PewDiePie. Or you end up like fucking a Boogie298, Or fucking, what was his name? Shit. He Dark Side Phil. End up like those guys. Telling off, letting Ray know. Neo said
sorry about that.
Neo said hello.
Hey, well.
But yeah. I was talking about like when you actually get big as any sort of content creator, what do you actually think of? Like what do you do at that point?
Well, it really depends on what your goals are starting out. If you remember why you started it out, which is going to evolve,
yeah,
that kind of helps you keep your bearings, I think. Like two examples I know that I follow fairly closely, one a little bit more so than the other, or like Silverveil and Shy Lily. Well, Shy Lily kind of branched out from just being a pure content creator to being partial business owner.
Yeah.
And where Silver, we're branching out with and networking more with other creators to try and help or help them out and have fun with them as friends, while also coming up with new stuff or further just give back to our community.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's that. There's also like a few other people, but my whole thing is like, for me, my whole goal is get big on streaming and then buy a few companies so I don't have to worry about the streaming just getting taken away from me out of nowhere because banning or this, that, and the other, you know? We've seen what happens for YouTubers, all this shit, you know?
Oh god, don't remind me.
I mean, I did remind you, but still.
You got my point, though.
Yeah. But that's my whole thing, is get big so I don't have to worry about the content. Not like, it's not that I'm not going to be streaming, it's that I want the freedom to do what I want to do without the fear of next thing you know, these content doesn't like these platforms don't like me, and next thing you know, I'm just gone. You know?
So, yeah, and kind of have like your own blog, own infrastructure, something that you are in control of and not beholden to somebody else.
Exactly. You know? Because the thing is, up until Shy Lily like got like half of Gamer Sub, she was beholden to like Twitch, YouTube, all that shit, you know? No matter what she did, if she didn't get those chicks, she's fucked. But
it's at the mercy of advertisers.
Exactly. But now she is completely based on her, like, she doesn't have to worry about that no more. She's like co-owner of Gamer Subs. She's good. There are fucking trucks driving with her fucking image on the side of the road.
And it's glorious to see. I want to see one of those myself one day.
Like she's fucking good. She don't have to worry about that shit no more. But that's my thing. I want to get to that point. I don't want to have to worry about this shit, because it's something I feel like would worry the audience along with me. Because I can't tell you how many times I've heard people like lose their minds because they got banned with this and the other. We must save the whales! Well, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we need to save that whale. That whale's doing fine. Holy shit, that whale's doing fine.
Yep, that whale is on top.
That whale is on top and holy shit, smashable. Sorry. Go on.
Yep, kill Lil. That's all I'm gonna say.
Kill Lil. 100% kill Lil. Oh gosh. But yeah, that's
what.
Oh, have you? So they're doing Shiley is doing a whole like new Gamer Subs thing, but her thing is merches a kind of a crossover between her and Kill Bill, but this time it's Kill Lil, so it's like just her in the Kill Bill outfit.
And oh my god, the art is just it's S tier.
It is. It's actually really good. If you want, I could try and find it for you.
I think I linked it in your chat or the other day.
I think it did. But yeah, I'll send it to Pi real quick. Yeah, that's the new Kill Lil stuff.
But yeah, I saw this.
Yeah. That's great. I know, right? But yeah, so actually I was gonna ask you a question, right? Do you have anything that's on your mind that you've been wanting to talk about?
Yeah. I think we actually did talk about it with the whole copyright issues and the apocalypse. So we kind of got into it briefly, but
co-own Sony. That's not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there'll be a Sony in 5 years for you to co-own. I don't think it'll be around.
well, that it's how some of these so-called games journalists still are not getting the picture of why people are no longer paying attention to them. I think I sent you the clip of it, where, well, here's a great example, and I don't know if this is on your topic list, but I want to go bring it up because it was freaking funny to me.
Okay.
That the ADL is reporting on Steam for quote unquote normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community.
Why? Hey, Kimichi. Yeah.
And when I see dumb crap like that, I'm just looking at them like, have you not been paying attention? Like for the past 4 years, that when people see this, they just look the other way and don't care because you've cried wolf so many times. The one time you might actually find a wolf in there, no one's going to be listening.
Let's go! Congrats for the Kimichi for getting the engage. Let's go! Big round of applause. Do I have a party button? I don't have a party button. Because of you, Kimichi, I need to add a party button. There's gotta be... You gotta add the party button.
Congrats, Kimichi.
Woo! Winning! Yeah! Congratulations on the Komichi. Congrats.
So zoomed in, you look like you're
No
about to
party
eat pie.
button, but looks like I'm downloading Warframe again. Fuck. Let's go. Congrats. I'll do it for you, Kimichi. Why not? We'll do it. I'll do it. Swear to God. Nah. This is how they get it. This is how they get me to do it. No. No, I don't want to go back to grindy.
You will play the Warframe.
I will play the Warframe because I'm a nice imp. Even though I'm supposed to be from hell, I'm supposedly nice. What the hell? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like even imps have a soft spot.
I guess. But yeah, no. I kind of agree. Like, journalism is weird. Did you hear that MSNBC is actually being, like, thinking about selling, actually?
Yep, because their ratings collapsed.
Well, that's my point. Their ratings collapsed. All of these big journalist people are actually collapsing. It's the thing I've been talking about for literally years now. As I think, as I've been telling you, everybody, is that the more you lie, the more you push out stuff that the common person doesn't think as a journalist, the more people question why you're a journalist to begin with.
Yeah, or like a great example with games journalism, because IGN's collapsing as well, and so is Kotaku, Game Radar, Games Rant, all the gamings.
Okay,
what have they been doing? What have they been doing for the past 5 years? Calling their core customers evil people.
Yeah.
What do they think is going to happen when you perpetually do that?
Today, I knew about the proposal before I even said, "Aw, I'm glad it just worked out for you, Kimichi. I'm glad. I hope everything goes great." Yeah, grind time. No. But yeah, no. Like, I think journalism as a thing is good, but these companies have lost touch so badly. It's actually unfunny. And it's to the point where it wasn't one of the like Kotaku editors actually completely fired, or like she left the company.
Yeah, she had a meltdown.
Just into the passed away. No, so she had a meltdown and she actually quit Kotaku, and then she went to be a full content creator. And within 24 hours, she was posting corn of herself.
God, the irony.
It was a very prominent one. Actually, let me check. I will get the. Should I put out the name? I feel like that'd be a little too much. I'm not sure.
Well, if it's the one I'm thinking about, she's pretty prolific in much larger channels.
I guess.
Let me just make sure it's who I'm thinking about.
'Cause I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm trying to remember where her thing is. Because even even like the Asmin Clips channel fucking clipped that whole thing as well. Like, it's not just me saying this shit.
I see the name via DM just to make sure, because I've heard that name a lot.
Let me check. I'm pretty sure. Give me a second.
Yeah, so, yeah, the spelling I'm pretty sure is not right, but I think that's the name.
Cool. I think that's her. Ellis. I'm pretty sure that's her.
No. Yeah. Okay, so her name has been on much larger channels than yours.
Yeah, I think her name was Alyssa Mercante.
Her entire shtick is demonizing specifically male gamers. I'm like, you want us to pay attention to you, but yeah, you're calling us evil people for something we can't control.
But my whole point is, like, that's what journalism has gone down to, the point where they're literally like going off and just doing random shit now because that's making more profit than actually doing the journalism now, because no one watches them. It's actually kind of heartbreaking, because I do like journalism. I like when game journalism was good, but it's not anymore. And these big publishers, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like these big YouTubers who do a bunch of fucking reviews for games, and I'm talking like the big ones who are actually getting a lot of fucking views from this, they should start their own websites. They should do their own thing. They should actually be the next wave of games journalism.
Well, that is what YouTubers have largely done, and that's why legacy games journalism is really throwing a death throw fit.
It's not. Is it becoming yellow journalism now? I wouldn't even say that. There's just more of an absence of it. Like, every journalist who's like reviewing a game now is like a YouTuber. Most of the big companies are dying. I mean, literally going out of business. Like, what is it? The game. What is it? The guys who did the original like Game Informer. Yeah, those guys are gone.
I feel like I feel like the reason for that has less to do with journalism itself is dying, and more to do with the fact that a lot of the journalists, even in the gaming industry, weren't really gamers. Like, a lot of them were kind of just people hopping on trends and shit, as opposed to like, oh, this game looks interesting, I'm going to give it a try, and then I'm going to give my opinion to the audience that's I know is there. They were just, all right, let me play this because it seems popular and I know that'll get attention.
For me, it's not that games journalism was dying. I don't think it's dying. I think it's changing. It's weird. It's not dying, it's changing. I think the old guard, such as IGN and everything else like that, have run their time through. Like, they've run as best as they could, but then they just lost sight of what they were doing, and then lost sight of who their actual audience was, and now they're going down slowly. That's just how it's happening. I'm saying, like, the new YouTubers should actually start companies based on journalism to actually, like, take their place. I think that would be the best for the industry. I honestly think that'd be the best for everything, honestly. Hire your own employees, make them have their own like YouTube shows where they talk about their game, like do reviews themselves, I feel like that would be so much better than just letting journalism as we knew it die out, because I don't feel like that's a good thing either. I feel like we need journalism, but I do feel like the companies that were the heads of it are dying out and they need to be replaced by something new. I was looking,
and hopefully they don't turn into the new BuzzFeed in the process.
You know what? That is also a problem I do see it being a potential thing. Is like they just turn into fucking BuzzFeed too, and I'm like, yep, that could be a definite thing. But I at least want one of them to be good, at least.
Well, the good thing with it, if YouTubers generally take over being the game journals, which I think they largely have, because maybe between the journalists of old and the YouTubers, is journalism tends to present itself as being more neutral and unbiased.
Yeah.
Even though that's not current journalism by any stretch of the imagination. where YouTubers at least will tell you what their biases are, so you can kind of temper what you get out of the review based on knowing what they're coming from.
Yeah, so like I don't expect a reviewer to be always unbiased, but I do expect them to tell me their bias, you know?
Yep, which we know what the biases of legacy journalism is, because they're generally pretty open about it, but that's where they're coming from, is they're not really there to review the game, they're there to espouse.
You're good, Gavin, but yeah, you look away now, it's sad. Thank you for the headbeds, by the way. But yeah, that's just my whole thought on games journalism. Actually, Pi, I'm curious, do you have any thoughts specifically about this?
Nope.
Nope?
I tend to not keep much track.
You know what, that's actually kind of understandable. You're probably the most
very
healthy.
Wise.
You are probably the most healthy mentally because of this.
Yep, I would dare say just straight up wise.
You are the wisest one among us, Pi. The dessert that I had to pull from the fridge is the wisest one among us. Oh my gosh. But actually, Pi, I know you had a topic you wanted to talk about. Do you want to bring that one up? This is the one you sent me in DMs.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be a topic here.
Well, you said you wanted to be a topic, so I was like, yeah, bring you on, let you talk about it as well.
Oh, no, I just put that up because I thought that would be a fun topic for you to get into at some point.
Well, let's get into it.
So, have you guys heard of Smite?
I have.
Yep, I actually have the VShojo pack because I wanted the Sword of Hell skin.
Of course. Have you guys heard that they're coming out with Smite 2?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Smite has been running for a little over 10 years now, probably closer to like 13, 14, depending on if you include their closed alpha and beta and blah, blah, blah. This is a live service game that, as you guys have probably figured out, has microtransactions inside of it for cosmetics and stuff like that, because, you know, MOBA. A lot of this stuff is going to be lost when it comes to the transition to Smite 2. This is because Smite 1 runs on Unreal Engine 3, whereas Smite 2 is going to run on Unreal Engine 5.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are boycotting the game because they're pissed off that they're going to be losing their cosmetics.
I fully agree.
Despite the fact that, yeah, it sounds fair, and then you realize, one, Call of Duty and Overwatch have pulled this same shtick multiple times, in the case of Call of Duty specifically. And two, Smite is actually compensating their players during this transition. If you purchased anything using gems, which keep in mind, you can also get gems for free in Smite just by playing for like a week. Any gems that you purchased will be refunded to you as legacy gems in Smite 2, which can purchase some things on their own completely.
Okay.
Or they can be used as a 50% off on a majority of the purchases that they plan on having for Smite 2.
Okay.
And that they compensate you 1 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
So for every gem that you spent, whether it be a freely earned gem or one that you spent money on, you're getting that exact amount in Smite 2.
I'm gonna be honest. They should have just made it a separate game. They should have.
They are making it a separate game.
So, let me get this straight. Can I still go back and play Smite 1?
Yes.
So, Smite 1 will not be disappearing.
Smite 1 will... Okay, so Smite 1 is going to... According to the devs, they're going to let Smite 1 run until the netcode makes the game unplayable. Or until they're no longer able to continue funding Smite 1 servers.
That's fine.
They're going to keep it running as long as they possibly can before they start, losing money from it.
Hello, Boo Boo. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the coffee crew. Don't ask why I'm colored.
So, are we going to go to the back rooms again to find your clothes?
No. I ate them.
So, no, Sai.
I ate them.
You cannot walk around in a post-it note. The world does not work that
Post-it
way.
note is safety. It's the safety sticker.
But the world does not want you to wear nothing but a post-it
The
note.
safety sticker speaks truth.
The safety sticker is a post-it note, and one puff of wind and it's gone.
The post-it note is safety. I don't have to worry. The safety sticker. Ow. Ow. Why? No, yeah, no hips equals safety. This is the safety sticker. Hey, did you? Oh no.
But yeah, Smite 1 and Smite 2 are currently running at the same time simultaneously. Smite 2 is currently in closed beta, and you can only access it by purchasing the Founders Pack, but even when the game releases, the company that owns Smite has openly stated, we're going to leave Smite 1 running for an extended period of time. And any gems that you spend in Smite 1 will fund the legacy gems that you get in Smite 2, including purchasing something called a cross-gen skin, which is a skin that you can purchase in Smite 1 that unlocks that same skin in Smite 2. Those also get turned into legacy gems.
Hey, Ray, question.
Answer.
Did Boo Boo put spite or spit?
Huh?
In chat,
in chat.
Is it spite or spit? I feel like I'm misreading this.
No, that's spite.
Spite? I thought it was spit. I was
No,
about to say, what's with the spit?
no, the spit would not have the E on the end.
I got it. You're right.
Yeah, spit doesn't have an E.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I always feel like I misread that shit. I feel like I always do that. Also, thank you, blah, blah. But why spite? What's with the spite? I'm not spiting nobody. I don't spite no one. No one spites me. I don't spite nobody. But I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to Smite, I was just curious if it was gonna be like a Warcraft 3 Reforger situation.
I don't know what that situation is.
Oh,
No,
actually, let me explain before we do that, Ray.
Well, before you go to compare it to Warcraft 3 Reforged, I would compare it more to Overwatch 2.
I mean, they're both the same thing.
No,
they're very different.
it is not that kind of situation, because I know the Overwatch 2 thing. It's not a case of, they're just remaking the game to do this or that. The main differences between Smite 1 and Smite 2, one, there's a lot of building changes. In Smite 1, there's physical and magical power that you can buy. If you are a character that scales off of physical, you can only buy physical power items. Same thing goes for magical. In Smite 2, you can build any item in the game, you just don't always scale off of it. And this is to allow a lot more build freedom as possible. They're kind of taking the League of Legends approach in that regard. That's the key difference. 2, all of the maps are getting some sort of a change when it comes to it. 3, every character, with the very few exceptions, are getting changes to make them feel a lot more fun or fluid in order to counterbalance all of the power creep that's happened over the past decade of Smite. And 4, the most important thing, it's not on the same fucking engine.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. No, fucking Kamichi's telling me my sound effects for my things aren't working. I'm like, fuck. Damn it.
Okay.
I have to fix that
when
later.
it comes to Overwatch and Overwatch 2, they both ran on the exact same engine. Like I said earlier, Smite 1 currently runs on Unreal Engine 3, and that engine is incredibly outdated and no longer gets support. Whereas Smite 2 runs on Unreal Engine 5. They are quite literally rebuilding Smite to make it more modern, if that makes sense. Both in terms of graphics and in terms of, like, actual higher ability. Because we are at the point where it is a lot easier to find people who have experience with coding in Unreal Engine 5 than Unreal Engine 3. And have been that way for about half a decade at this point.
Oh, no, I'm not.
So it's a lot easier on them because they won't need to train people on how to code in Unreal Engine 3.
You know, it's not like it's a bad thing. My whole point was, like, I didn't want it to be an Overwatch situation. because I feel like you fucked up with Overwatch specifically. Not only did you make an entirely new game that no one even wanted, that added nothing new to the entire formula, but you got rid of the original game, which had everyone else's things. Got rid of their skins and everything else like that. Thank you. Thank you so much. But with a posture check, but it happens something similar with a fucking Warcraft 3 Reforger. Reforger basically was a remake of the game. It was worse than the original game, but they got rid of the original game and basically put it over top. You can't go back and play the original.
Unless you already have download, which thankfully I do. But I'd say that's a little bit different for the simple fact that they fundamentally remade the game from scratch.
Yeah.
And they did a worse job.
Yeah.
The thing is, and this is why I'm saying it's not that kind of situation, because there's a complete engine difference. The reason why they're not bringing all the skins from Smite 1 into Smite 2 back isn't because they don't want to do that. It's because they have to remake everything about Smite.
I'm gonna be honest.
This is a game that has been running since, like I said before, it's been running since I think around 2011. So that is 13 years worth of skins, cosmetics, everything that would have to be remade completely for Unreal Engine 5. And
I don't
that
agree
alone is a grueling process that costs a fuck ton of money to do and a lot of time and energy.
I'm gonna be honest.
And the reason why I side with Smite in this regard is it's kind of unrealistic to expect a company to remake 13 years worth of skins and cosmetics and shit from scratch just so you have every cosmetic from Smite 1, when doing so is going to take roughly the same amount of time with not nearly as many profits because, you know, most of the people who are playing the game already owned those skins. So they would essentially be bleeding money doing that.
Oh, no, I fully agree, because I have something similar to this. CS2. You know Counter-Strike 2? See, Counter-Strike...
I know what Counter-Strike is, yes.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive was the thing, then it went to Counter-Strike 2. And it kind of reset a bunch of things, you know? I didn't have all the stuff I had originally when I went over to CS2. I had to get some new stuff all together, you know? But that's an entirely new game. Like, let's be honest. If Smite 1 is still up and running and you can play that version, and then they add Smite 2, that is the sequel. You don't need everything in the first game to be ported over to a sequel. It's a new game completely. Sure, it's still Smite, but it is the sequel to Smite 1. That's one problem I have.
That is exactly how they plan on handling it, like I said.
Oh, no, I fully agree, but the whole boycott of it makes no sense to me now because there's a difference. There is something like Overwatch, which promised to add a bunch of new stuff and added literally nothing to the point where it's basically worse than the first game. And then they got rid of the first game to make way for the second game, which came out worse. And then only now did they actually add a classic mode, which added back the 6v6. After what, a year or two of that whole thing? And then having them be on Steam, got review bombed and everything else like that? There's a difference between that and keeping the first game up while people can still play it, and then go to the second game with all new shit. The fact you're boycotting it because you don't have your skins makes no sense to me. It's actually asinine. That'd be like going on to something like that. Because the thing is this, it'd be like going on to like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and expecting all of your skins to just port over to Modern Warfare 2. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
The thing is this, they clearly market themselves.
A lot of people are angry at the boycott because
it's dumb.
They kind of realize how unrealistic it would be to expect them to program every skin from Smite 1 into Smite 2.
That's kind of like because
again, that's a whole engine difference. They would have to retexture, remodel, and remake literally every skin for it to exist in there.
To me, it's just asinine because it makes me feel like any game, because the thing is, I like the idea of a Smite 2. I like the idea of a CS 2. Like, all that stuff is really cool. All these games we loved getting sequels is great. having them be updated, modernized, oh shit.
I have a Steam key for it, if you ever want it, by the way.
I mean, I'd do a stream out of it, but sure, that sounds fun. But, like,
hell yeah.
Because my thing is this. There's, like, a few games I really wish would get either the sequel treatment or fucking remake treatment. Because let's be honest, CS2 is basically just CSGO, but the difference is it's just prettier and runs on a different engine. That's it. That's literally fucking it. That's, like, all there is to it. But when it comes to Smite, they're actively marketing it as a sequel. Not the first game, but an entirely new game. So my problem with that...
To give you a rough idea of what I mean by, like, they are making, like, huge changes to the game. First and foremost, you know how in Smite you can only get 6 items, right?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't play too much Smite, but I think it's like... Yeah, 6 items, right?
Well,
I think 6 items.
Well, yeah, you can only get a total of 6 items, including the starter.
Yes.
In Smite 2, the starter item is considered its own item slot, which means you can technically get a total of 7 items.
Nice.
On top of that, there's a massive difference to, like, almost every kit in the game has gotten some kind of +1 benefit so that they play slightly differently to how they did in Smite 2. A good example of that is Ymir. I'm going to ignore the fact that Ymir can build crit now, because that's already pretty funny, because that's a character who can double his basic attack damage and then be able to crit on top of that. But we don't need to worry about that. A great example of a good +1 that he's had are 2 things. One, his ult now also scales off of protections. So if Ymir is tanky, his ult can still hurt a lot, and that is awesome. And 2, when it comes to his wall, that used to be his only safety tool. Now, it's still his only safety tool, but he gets what is essentially a dash from it, because if he hits either himself or an enemy player with the wall, they get launched.
Damn.
And that's funny.
Nice. But my thing is this. I don't get the boycott. Like, what are they actually boycotting? There's no reason to do it. It's a sequel to a game. What's their actual logical reason?
And they're not marketing.
They're crying that they can't have access to the skins that they paid a ton of money for, which I can understand for the tier 5 skins, but Hi-Rez said if they have the time and resources to remake the tier 5 skins, they will. And the only reason why they say time and resources is because tier 5 skins are extremely complex to program. Those are the skins that are worth like hundreds of dollars for people who aren't in the loop for those ones. So they're the expensive ones that have tons of awesome effects added to them that are likely a pain in the ass to program.
Oh no, I figured that, but my whole point was there, in my opinion, isn't actually an active reason to boycott it. I've seen boycotts have actually good reasons. The Helldivers 2 had a good reason. People literally were getting the game taken away from them just because they lived in a region of the area that PlayStation networks weren't allowed in. That's an understandable reason to want to boycott something. This is bitching and moaning. I mean, to its basic fundamentals, this is just wah. Wah, I want skin. I want skin. The problem is this.
Right,
it's
and
what
makes it even worse sorry to cut you off, but what makes it even worse in my opinion, Smite 2 is compensating their players on top of all of this. So they're doing something that AAA studios don't even give a fuck to you doing. And they're receiving more hate from their player base than Call of Duty has ever gotten, than Overwatch has ever gotten. And that blows my mind.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about the Overwatch, but I'm
talking about like from a percentage of their player base wise, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure
I don't know. But I do agree it's a stupid boycott for mainly 2 reasons, and comparing and contrasting again to Overwatch 2. Like, one, it's not outright superseding the original game. It's not being cut off at the hip. It's still going to exist, unlike the original Overwatch. And number 2, it's not being marketed that way. It's being marketed as a true sequel game, which Overwatch 2 did not.
Yeah, like Overwatch 2...
I will say that I will say this when it comes to Smite 1 specifically. Because of Smite 2's development, Smite 1 has reached that point of its lifespan where there's not going to be any new content into the game other than skins.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everything else is just balance patches.
Yeah. That's my thing. That's what happens in game development. The first game goes, they start working on the sequel becomes the main game, and then the first one goes away.
Yeah, that's how they're treating it.
Yeah.
For as long as they can, anyway.
But my point is, that's natural. Like, that's every game ever. Yeah. Battlefield has the same things. When Battlefield 2042 dies, the sequel will take its place. And the sequel's in development right now. There's no more content for 2142. Or 2042. Or anything else like that, you know? Same thing with Call of Duty. This Call of Duty will be run its course. Black Ops 6 will go for as long as it can. And then, boom, it's going to be over. And it's going to be gone. And the next Call of Duty will take its place next year, probably. That's how it always works.
Just blows my mind. Because I feel the exact same way. There's no point in really boycotting it because they do the exact same thing. Or not the exact same thing. There's no point in boycotting it because it's just purely a sequel.
Yeah.
And while it does have relatively the same gameplay loop because it's a sequel, there's other companies that have done the same shit but haven't been as kind to you as what Hi-Rez is doing. That's the publisher for the game.
Like we just mentioned Overwatch and fucking Warcraft. Like that's two big examples of how they could just give no fucks.
Yeah, they didn't give it. From what I've heard, they didn't give a single fuck about their player base. Smite, you're getting this premium currency that you get a 1-to-1 based on how much you spent in our first game. And there's still a ton of hate over that idea. Like, what?
Yeah, it's...
Even if you didn't spend a dime in Smite 1, if you purchased something with gems, you get legacy gems. You are earning money at that point, essentially.
Yeah.
And people are still whining.
How? I'm gonna be honest, I feel like they were looking for something to complain about. But my whole point is like, there's just no reason to, if that makes sense. I just don't really expect it. Like, I don't know. There's nothing in my mind that they could really say to justify it. Like, what if it's like, oh, but I spent a lot of money on the skin? Yes, you did. On the first game. This is not that game. But it's basically the same game with a bit of graphic updates. Yes. But unlike that one, it's a sequel. There's still a decent amount of changes, and unlike anything else, they actually change shit. So that's my whole thing. It's like it's a sequel. You're not gonna get everything ported over because it's a new game entirely. Like
I feel like
that's just it.
The biggest noteworthy change between Smite 1 and Smite 2, and this is kind of a meme thing, but it's also really funny. In Smite 1, if you had auto buy settings on, which is something to help newer players out so they can get a feel for the game before they actually start buying their own items on their own.
Yeah.
Smite 1, it just went with what the game recommended for that character specifically, regardless of where you were, and that was it. Smite 2, you get an option of different play styles that the developers intended for the character, and you get to choose one of those between those options. And I like that a lot more, because while there's still some that don't seem fully fleshed out, for the most part, they're all hits. All of the builds, because I've played a good amount of them, are pretty fun and actually make sense. And I've had a lot more fun on Smite 2 when it comes to just turning my brain off, as opposed to Smite 1. Because Smite 1, are you playing X character in a lane they shouldn't be in? Well, you're fucked because we're giving you a build for that lane. Like, what?
Oh my gosh. Also, don't feel too old, Big Bit. It's fine. It's just... He's my older brother, and he remembers when Smite came out. Yeah. He remembers when Smite came out, like the first Smite. Even I remember when Smite came out. And he's basically saying, "Oh, we're
I
old now."
remember-
Like, I mean, kind
What's
of.
funny about Smite is that
Uh-huh.
around when it was starting to release on consoles, they started doing a huge advertisement campaign.
Yeah.
And on my Wii U, because at the time I had a Wii U, I remember seeing the ad for Smite, and I'm like, oh, this seems like a cool game. I'll look into it when I get the chance. And then I kind of just forgot about it in the back burner because I put it on a favorites tab and all that. And then a few months later, my friend got me interested in Smite. And then once I had an actual PC, I'm like, oh, I should probably check out that game again. Only to find out it was the game I had been playing for 2 to 3 years by that point.
Nice.
Oh,
That was so funny.
That's understandable. But yeah, no. So now that I'm trying to think of another question or another topic to really talk about. I'm like, I don't know. Because like I kind of remember, like I remembered the big ones. I'm trying to remember if I remembered any of the small topics I had, because I know there's like a few small topics I really wanted to talk about, but I just can't put my finger on them anymore.
While you do that, I will be right back.
Shit. I don't really know.
No.
Shit, right? Do you got anything you want to talk about? Anything that's been like bugging your brain or some shit?
Yeah, the biggest thing was that ADL thing. We already talked about that.
I mean, yeah, we talked about that. Freaking like the whole Steam getting sued and all that shit. Yeah, that was really, really dumb.
But
yeah,
so one broad thing we can get into is or just the general state of gaming. Like, what do you think they could be doing a lot better right now? Because it seems like we've had a lot of games that are just falling flat on their faces.
I've got to be honest, the only thing they could do is change up the way. Like, I feel like from what I've heard, the whole sentiment is bigger is better, bigger development team, bigger budget, bigger game. No, it's not how it works. Like, in my opinion, you don't need 1,000 devs for every single game. Like, fucking Diablo 4 had 1,000 devs, and at launch, it was a good game, but after a while, they just added so much shit, it didn't make too much shit to add anymore. You know, it kind of bloated, if that makes sense.
So that's what you're
Having
saying.
too many devs on a game is always problematic.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way they see it is, at least the way the higher-ups always see it is, bigger is better. More devs, more money, bigger game, bigger profit. That's how they always see it. And, like, that's not how it should work. In my opinion, you should split that 1,000-man team into at least 2 to 3 different teams, each with maybe 300 apiece, and have them set on lower budgets, but different projects to come out with more games faster. And like, say, have 2 of them work on projects or at least franchises that have already been worked on, and have one make an entirely new franchise. That way you add something kind of unique to the spin of it, while at the same time giving people what they want with older franchises. I feel like that'd be more effective, more time, and more money, you know, saving wise. I honestly feel like that'd be better. Because I think
if they want to do something, if they want to do something where they just use like a ton of devs, one thing they could do is similar to the Pokemon model, where they have X amount of devs working on the base game, and then X amount of devs working on every DLC that they plan on doing for that game's life cycle.
I guess my whole point, for at least me,
that would work.
Yeah, I think my whole problem is this: when it comes to like these big budget games and everything else like that, they don't really know what they want to do. And also, as much as you have the right to do whatever you want with your game that you're making, try not to force your beliefs onto people through a game. I feel like that's not great, because no one wants anyone's beliefs forced on them. I feel like that's just a thing that's been happening in gaming for a while now. I feel like it's gonna get worse because of this whole... I'm gonna be honest, I feel like just because of this year alone, we're gonna get so much more of that.
Well, I think it'll probably be true to a certain point, because a lot of the contracts that have already been locked in, they're so far along in development cycles, they have to finish out contractually. But there's already been a pivot back towards center for a lot of things, because we've already seen projects like Concord. got shut down because nobody was buying it.
Yeah, let's be honest. That game was so bad it killed the company. That's literally what happened.
Oh yeah, and I think that actually kind of is a good segue to the Games Awards. Actually, as apparently the conversation started up on that again.
Well, yeah, the Games Awards are happening.
Yeah, and I cannot take a journalist's opinion on any game seriously if they are going to give Concord a certified failure, a 7 out of 10, and high marks, but turn around to give Black Myth Wukong a record-breaking game, the exact same rating with negative headlines.
Yeah.
Even though one was a clear success, the other was a clear failure.
Yeah. I don't know. The entire thing to me is really dumb. Because to me, I'm like... How to put it? For me, I like Black Myth Wukong. I liked all the things. And I was honestly hoping that Concord would probably be good. But at the same time, it just wasn't. Then again, this still takes us back to the games journalist thing, and I think we already talked about how that shit's going downhill really quickly. So my thing is this: when it comes to Game Awards, when all these big journalistic companies fucking close, who the fuck's gonna be voting unless it's just the fucking people there?
Well, and that raises an interesting question. If you had to pick, say, the top 5 games of the year, what would be the criteria you look at, and how would you weigh them?
So, first of all, player base. That's numero uno. Because let's be honest, usually the best played game or the most played game that has released that year is probably being played for a good reason. 2, actual story. Like, review the story. See how other people see the story is and see if it's actually any good or not, or it's, like, serviceable. And 3, how long the game is. But not because that's a good thing or a bad thing, but just to show how much there could be in the game just because of how the length. I don't feel like a 7 to 8 hour game is bad, but I do feel like some games that are longer could benefit it. I think it depends on, actually, I think probably not by time, but how I think it's better to say the genre of it, depending on what it is, like genre-wise. Like, you're not going to review a open world game right next to an FPS game and say, this is the reason they get this because this, and this, you know? You're not going to compare those two considering they're so vastly different.
It makes sense.
But in my opinion, if I had to pick 5 games to be Game of the Year this year, Black Myth Wukong's on top. I'd say fucking... put Helldivers at... Actually, let me think about this. I would put Black Myth Wukong at the top, at the very, very tip top. I would put... Shit, I'm trying to think of other games that came out. Because I'm going to be honest, all I remember right now is Black Myth Wukong. You know?
Nope.
Like, my brain is blanking on that shit right now.
Yeah, I would definitely need to see a list of everything, but... I know one thing is I wouldn't be able to put everything in the same genre as like DLCs. Unless it was revolutionary and added that much.
I would put fucking. I would even count like DLCs that are as big as games as actual full games, and I'd put them up for Game of the Year. So in my opinion, I would put the Erdtree up as either second or first place. It depends, but yeah. I would say if I had to put, you know, it's bad. I'm pretty sure they wanted to put Concord as the best multiplayer game of the year, but the game is literally dead along with the company. So like, you can't even vote on that shit no more. Wait, wasn't it being voted on before it got closed down?
I want to say it was.
Because if that's the case, oh my gosh, that had to suck. And I'm gonna be honest. The way Concord happened makes me concerned for Sony, considering they hyped that project up internally as if it was Star Wars. Like, this was their Star Wars. And it was so bland, mediocre, and horrible, it killed the company that worked on it. That's an achievement I haven't seen in a very long time. Like... I can get mad about Microsoft shutting down the guys that did fucking Hi-Fi Rush, because Hi-Fi Rush was great. I can't get mad at Sony for shutting down the guys who did fucking Concord. But at the same time, I'm also like, you have fucking proved this? And you thought this was gonna be as big as Star Wars? What the hell are you thinking? You know?
Some executive needs to be answering some questions to the board.
Someone is needing to be fired, and not just that company. Like, whoever was keeping that going internally needed to get the boot.
I'm gonna be honest. I had never heard about it until after everything had happened. What was bad about Concord exactly?
Concord was a hero-based shooter, and let me explain. Concord was a hero-based shooter, right? Overwatch is a thing. Marvel Rivals is coming out, right? It has competition, which is understandable, but it's supposed to compete. It's on PC and it's on PlayStation. It's gonna do fine, right? The moment it comes out, it's not even free to play. It is $40 straight out the gate. And then the characters, which are the main focal point of any hero shooter, look abysmally bad. Like, so bad. The character designs are the worst I've ever seen in a game, I'm gonna be honest. And when it came to the gunplay, it was just okay. So everything's okay gameplay wise, but with ugly characters that you don't really like, and that's the main part of a hero shooter, is you want to look like a cool character, considering half the characters there are supposed to be the reason you're playing the game. And I can't even try it out free. It's fucking pay to enter. If I want to go to Overwatch, I can play that for free. If I want to go to Marvel Rivals, it's going to be free day one. I don't have to pay for entry. So the business model plus the actual game being bad itself did not help it. I think those two things actively killed that game, and it did so bad they took all the servers off, and you know what's even worse? They planned to do like a monthly cinematic releases per character in order to like kind of flesh out the mythos, kind of like how Overwatch did. But this just came out way too late and did not change its purchasing or marketing material in order to fit the modern day.
So they tried to pull an Overwatch without knowing how Overwatch or what made Overwatch succeed in the first place.
They tried
and then flopped on their face as a result.
No, they tried to pull an Overwatch, but they tried to pull a 2016 Overwatch where it had just come out, instead of where Overwatch is now and where the market they're going into is now. They were basically stuck back in 2016. They didn't move from that one point, basically.
Gotcha.
And it was such a bad failure that the entire company that worked on it, Firewalk, is completely gone. All of them are gone completely. I don't even think they rehired them into different areas. I think they legit just fired every single person there. That's how bad that game was. And the thing is, they spent $400 million on that game. $400 million. They didn't even make half that. They didn't even make a quarter of that.
I think they had a dozen sales collectively.
They had a dozen sales, and then they had to refund a bunch of people. In total, they lost nearly $400 million. And I'm gonna be honest, I can't blame Sony for shuttering that company. After that, they had to.
I think its core problem was, of course, this is getting multiple sources that alleged behind the scenes knowledge, so take it with a grain of salt because there's no way to verify it.
Okay.
That it was a result of toxic positivity in the development studio. As they would criticize the character design, it was shrugged off. You weren't allowed to do the criticism because it was just easy. Oh, you're just being mean. You couldn't criticize the lack of story because it was pretty obvious their focus was not story and not lore and character development. It was meant to be a pet project that just morphed into something that was totally up or off kilter.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry.
And with the minute anyone internally was trying to rightfully criticize it, the team leads would basically tell them, no, shut up, keep working.
I'm gonna be honest. In my opinion, Concord is a failure. And I don't think it's in my opinion. I think everyone's opinion. It was an actual flop. But my thought is this. The idea of the game isn't a bad one. The execution of it was god-awful, but the idea wasn't bad. But my only other thing is they didn't offer anything new. Like, hell, I think if Marvel Rivals offers a story mode, they immediately will beat out Overwatch. They add a decent PvE mode, and they will actively beat Overwatch. It won't even be a contest at that point, because the one thing everyone has been wanting from hero shooters is PvE content. You know?
Yep, and that was the main thing that turned me off from Overwatch 2 is when they went back on. Well, when they said a launch, like, yeah, we're working on it, it'll come later. I was thinking, okay, I'll give it a chance.
I haven't played Overwatch since then. The moment they said we were doing it, I was like, I'm never playing that game again.
I can count on one hand how many matches in Overwatch 2 I played. That should tell you something, because I love the original Overwatch so much. I bought it on the Switch, 2 PC copies, and I had it on Xbox. So 4 total copies.
Yeah. But my whole point with it is, not only did Concord come out and have literally nothing to add to the industry, they were basically all the way back in 2016's version of the industry. Well, I think if Marvel Rivals really wants to be top dog, they just need to add a PvE mode, and they win. I honestly think that's all they need to do. Add a good PvE mode, and you will beat Overwatch. I honestly think that's all they need to do.
I find it really funny that one of the games that came out around Overwatch's release had a PvE mode, but it died due to Overwatch's dominance.
So, that's fair.
Battleborn. I miss Battleborn. Battleborn was so much fun.
Battleborn was supposed to be Overwatch's competitor, and it did do it, but the problem is the core fundamental gameplay just wasn't as tight as Overwatch was, you know? It wasn't as good as Overwatch.
Okay, so the reason why Overwatch and Battleborn had 2 different audiences and why Battleborn wasn't picked up is because Battleborn leaned more heavily into the MOBA aspect.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what made it more fun, in my opinion. But because they did that, it added a layer of complexity to the game that a lot of people didn't really care for, because a lot of the people that were coming into the Overwatch scene at the time were mostly kids, or when it comes to adults, they were purely FPS fans, so they didn't fully understand that MOBA aspect, and that's the main reason why Battleborn failed. Because
I
people were Overwatch was just a lot easier to pick up than Battleborn.
I kind of want to agree with you on that, but that would also make I have a problem with that, because my problem is this. Have you heard of fucking? I just had the game in my brain. What the hell was I thinking? Give me a second. Where are you? I know you're in here. Fuck.
Gigantic?
No, give me a second. 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 Give me a second.
1001?
No, it's not that. Give me a second. I literally have played this a bunch. Deadlock. Yes. Have you guys heard of Deadlock?
Yeah, I played a match or 2 of it. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily my game, but I can definitely see it being popular.
Do you know how popular Deadlock was at its peak, right?
Isn't Deadlock a recent game?
Deadlock is a recent game that come out, but it is basically a hero shooter MOBA. So think Smite, but the difference is it's a hero shooter.
I want to say the difference between that and Battleborn is that Deadlock is coming out in a time post Paragon, if that makes any sense. Because at the time, when Battleborn came out, Paragon wasn't a thing, if I remember correctly, or it was a I don't know how to explain it. The point is, there were a lot of games that tried to go back to how Paragon was back in the day.
Yeah.
And while the two that have come out so far have seemed to have been flops. Deadlock, despite the fact that they weren't at all going for the Paragon feel, seemed to hit the nail on the head. So not only are they attracting that already existing audience, but they're also piquing the interest of the hero shooter audience, just because the hero shooter audience is abandoning Overwatch because of their poor business decisions.
Yep.
While also attracting the MOBA audience because, you know, it's a fucking MOBA.
And also attracting people who just like games because A, it's a game that you can only really get into if you get invited. So it's only spread via word of mouth. Do you know how many people play that game at its peak?
How many?
If I remember correctly, it was 300,000. It was the top played game for a while. It was fucking huge. Let me actually go check that up. Actually, let me make sure I'm not far up my own ass.
I'm sorry, did you say farting up your own ass?
Yes.
Ew.
What
Why?
was it? What was it?
Are you trying to make that a thing?
I don't know.
Why are you trying to make that a thing?
Oh no, yeah, no. Sorry, it was half that. It was 171,000 people. That is massive for a game that doesn't even have a trailer out. Like, there's no trailer for this game. There's no nothing from this game. This game is vehemently only spread via word of mouth. And there was 171,000 people playing this game. I mean,
Nice.
there's like 32,000 players playing it right now. Like, its peak for every 24 hours has been 49,000. So to me, it's a game that I honestly think could do a lot more stuff. And I honestly think when the marketing hits, oh my gosh, are you going to see this game explode? Plus, it's a Valve game. When was the last time Valve finished a game other than Half-Life Alyx? Especially a new
Portal 2.
IP. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to those projects, the main reason why it's going to work, just flat out, they have a lot more experience when it comes to not only game design, but also what attracts players, because it's Valve that are working on it, and Valve has the benefit of having the metrics of Steam, because, you know, they own Steam. And unlike PlayStation, they're not pushing this work off onto someone else based on trends. They're not just trying to make whatever they think, oh, the audience is probably just gonna love this. They're doing, from what I've seen, they're trying to make a genuinely enjoyable game that combines as many aspects of a lot of what the free-to-play audience enjoys. And if they keep it on free-to-play, that's probably going to net them a ton of money in the long run.
I fully agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have any more topics. Do you guys have anything else you want to add last minute?
See, this is why you don't delete your topics.
I didn't mean to. It was a mistake. Damn it. I'm never going to live this down.
Yep. Backups.
There's a lot of things you're never going to live down.
The samey sticker.
Wasn't there that one thing that you said someone else wasn't going to live you down on that was like a few streams ago?
I have no idea. I'm going to be honest.
I don't either. That's why I was asking. See,
then no one knows and I can live it down. Let's go. But yeah, I think it's time we actually...
I mean, I also have terrible memory, so I'm not the person you should be judging that off of.
But I think it's actually time we should rate out. And I feel like we should rate out to... You know what? Yeah, let's rate out to this person. Emma Tao. She is doing just chatting right now, and it turns out I think she's about to switch to a game or something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you guys next week. The schedule will probably up via tomorrow, and I will be streaming probably decently normally. There's going to be a few changes next week because I think some of the streams going to push to like 9:30. So like a few of them, like probably around Thursday or Friday, will have to be different. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you guys next time, and thank you for being here. It's time for the M Parade. And this is the message we're going to be rating them with. In Parade. So thank you guys so much for being here. See you guys later. Bye bye.